Hello everyone. Welcome to Pokemon Red. I'm Crrool. I'm going to be doing no centers, no marts, so this should be a fun one. I'm not going to beat around the bush too long. We're just going to dive right into it. So, doing up my settings real quick. And with that, Sid, I do hope you're ready. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Pokemon Red, no centers, no marts. Now, before I get started, let me quickly explain who I am, what I do. I'm Crrool. I run a lot of different games, most of which Pokemon games, and I have a habit of doing weird and dumb challenge speedruns. And this is honestly one of the OG weird and dumb challenge speedruns that I like to do, the No Centers, No Marts challenge. Now, what is the No Centers, No Marts challenge? We are going to be attempting to beat the game as fast as we can using whatever we can find on the ground, and that's it. I am not allowed to buy anything. I am not allowed to take any kind of free heals. This includes, but is not limited to, Pokemon Centers, Mom Heal, healing through the PC, which isn't a thing in this game anyway, but for future generations that is a thing. Any free heal that can be avoided must be avoided. The heal tiles in the Ghost Tower later on is another big one that we're going to be skipping. Now, as for marts, it is basically anything we can buy, we are not allowed to buy, with the exception of two things. We can buy exactly one drink item in the Celadon Mart, because that is required by the story, and we can buy exactly one trip to the Safari Zone for the exact same reason. That is it. Other than that, I'm going to be living off the land, so this should be an interesting one. That means that this category is an incredibly volatile category, but also an incredibly fun one. Right out of the gate, we're going to save the game here, because this is immediately a rather dangerous fight. After this fight, we are also going to get the only free heal in the entirety of this game. So, yeah, it's not gonna be a lot, but we need to win this fight. I need the experience quite badly. The strategy for me is going to be to Tail Whip and then hope he doesn't growl me and hope that he just misses whatever he does. Not off to a great start here, but we'll have to just deal with it. We're just gonna slowly whittle down his HP and hope this works out. This fight can be quite awful sometimes. But yeah, this is basically the first rival battle. It's just my Squirtle versus his Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur has two things it can do. It can do Growl, which will lower my attack, or it can use Tackle, which will deal about 3 damage every time he does it. My only goal is to just get through this fight alive without needing to use that potion that I just picked up, as we are going to need every single potion I can get. Healing in especially the first 45 minutes of the run is incredibly scarce, so we are going to just hope, we're just going to pick up everything we can and hope that that'll be enough. Anyway, first fight out of the way, that is, we now got healed. That is the only free heal we are going to be getting for the entire remainder of the game, and from here on, we cannot heal except for stuff we pick up. And with that, we're going to make our way to Viridian City, where we have a quick fetch quest to do. On the way, I can talk to this guy. He works for the Mart, but he doesn't sell this, therefore it's allowed. He's going to give me a potion, very helpful for later on. Especially early on, you'll notice me picking up a number of different potions here and there, as every single potion is going to be relevant to make sure that I have enough heals to get through basically up to Misty. Like, after we have passed Misty and we're onto the SSN, that's kind of where this run becomes a lot safer and a lot easier. But until Misty, we are still gonna just have to hoard every potion we can. Now, we do need to defeat one Pokemon on this route. That's because I need a little bit of extra experience. This'll let me get Bubble before the first gym leader, which is going to be quite helpful in beating Brock. Now then, the first of 2 times that we're going to enter a Mart. Again, I am not going to actually buy anything here. This is just for a fetch quest, and again, it's required by the story. Technically, like, there are a few moments that we have to enter the Mart or have to enter a center. And the way that we approach that is just we're more than allowed to do that. That's not a problem at all. The only issue is that we cannot actually use them. So that's a thing. Another thing that I haven't actually mentioned that's probably relevant to mention, we cannot die. If we faint in battle, that means we get healed at the last center we visited, or in the case of this game, since we never actually use any of the centers, we get healed by Mom. That is a free heal, and that would invalidate the run. So that is another big little side note here. We cannot faint our entire party to heal. That is not allowed. Alright, so, Rival comes walking in, we get our Pokedex here, you know, all of the standard stuff. Before we actually go to Brock, I will actually be catching a Pokemon, specifically the main Pokemon that we're going to be using over the course of this game. Now, I will say, and this is kind of a fun little note to make, a lot of these runs use the starter because they're generally quite powerful, you can get them early, and generally you don't get a lot of Pokeballs to work with. That is especially true in this one, as we don't actually get any Pokeballs from the Professor. But there is one specific Pokeball that we can pick up, and we're going to be using that to catch a level 4 Nidoran. That's kind of the fun part about this, or one of the fun parts about this challenge as well. There's a lot of little routing details that we can look into. Resources are scarce, and that is what makes this challenge as much fun as it is. There will be items that we can use in battle that is allowed in this challenge. We can, you know, use whatever we get as long as we don't have to buy it or anything. And that kind of also is what makes this challenge so much fun. This challenge is possible in quite a few Pokemon games. I've actually done this on this channel before for Side Quest, where we did this in Crystal, I believe. I've also done it for Emerald and Black. I've attempted it in Fire Red, but got stuck on the Elite Four. But it's certainly possible in quite a number of Pokemon games. Anyway, Pokeball here. That one's for free, so we're going to take that up, pick that up. And that's what we're going to be using for the Nidoran, and that gets me to the point of RNG manipulation. I am going to catch a Nidoran, and I'm going to be RNG manipulating it so that the stats are really, really good. Now, this has 2 major advantages. 1, I get a Nidoran guaranteed. And 2, the stats are always going to be the exact same, which makes it much easier to route for. That's kind of bad. I need him off... He was on screen. That makes the manipulation fail. Okay, let me walk back to this tile. So I'm going to focus for just a second. And once that's done, I'll be answering questions from chat as well. So, you know, I am seeing you guys, and I will be answering those momentarily. But this is honestly one of the trickier parts of this run. Now, if I get the encounter but fail the YOLO Ball manip, it is a 1 in 3 to get in, and my YOLO Balls are really inconsistent. In practice, I got it, and I know I can do it, but yeah, no, that's not... No success there. The 1 in 3 to get it in. I should have swapped my Pokeballs to the first slot. I'm a little bit more consistent at that point. Yeah, this specific Nidoran, like every stat in Pokemon Red has a randomly assigned value between 0 and 15. For this specific Nidoran, HP is 14. 12. Attack is 15, defense 11, speed 14, and special 14. So this one's really good. But like I said, I am horribly inconsistent at this YOLO ball. At which point, it is a 1 in 3 to still get in. So it's not like our odds are absolutely terrible here. I keep pressing for the potion. This is getting a little annoying. It's okay, my estimate does assume that I failed this a few times. I did keep that into account. Normally you get as many, or not as many chances as you want, but normally you would get a fair few chances at this, so it's not that bad if you fail. Of course, in no centers, no marts, that makes it a little bit harder. And I can't actually damage it, because I need it to be full health. If we don't get it at full health, we're going to be in trouble with potions later. Come on. Okay. Okay. Focus on this and we'll, we can do this. I got a lot more luck, or I got a lot better results in this in practice just now. In practice, I got it about 50% of the time, so... Please get in. This is getting a little ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna quickly put the Pokeball in first slot because I'm slightly more consistent at that. And then I'm gonna just try again, and hopefully we'll get it that time, because this is a little ridiculous. Yeah, the Nidoran certainly doesn't seem to want to get in. Like I said, it is, even if I fail the YOLO ball, it is still 33%. So I can certainly still get it in. That actually felt like it was good. Okay, I don't think I've ever failed it this many times back-to-back in a marathon, so I'm getting a little bit embarrassed about that, but that's okay. Please just do this, Nido. We need you. It's a combination of just not... Like, this trick is fairly precise, so it, you know, there's no shame in not getting it. But even, like I said, even if we fail it, this is still a 1 in 3. There we go. Okay, we got it. Okay. Took a little longer than we wanted, but we got it. Okay, now to actually get back to the actual story of what we're doing here. I noticed a few people asking about the free heal tiles in the Lavender Tower. We are going to be skipping those. That is absolutely required to skip, because it is possible to skip those. And every free heal that we can skip, we are going to skip. But yeah, like I said at the start with that Nidoran Manip, I know I can do it. I'm just not very consistent at it, but that's okay. So we're going to go through the forest. We are not actually going to fight any of the trainers except for the very last trainer. That one will be required. We are going to be using the opportunity we have here to pick up every single potion that is in this place. There's 2 potions we can pick up, and then I'll be saving before the next fight because we cannot really afford to lose a lot of health on that one. Now, in the forest itself, certain tiles will not actually spawn any encounters, so we're making good use of that to try and help us avoid certain Pokemon here. Just saves a little bit of time. We're going to see a lot of random encounters in general because we cannot actually buy repels. And a lot of those places either aren't manipulated or they wouldn't really be feasible to manipulate anyway. Okay, time for me to save the game again, and let's go into difficult fight number 2. So this particular bug catcher has a Weedle. Now, there's 2 things this Weedle can do. He can either use Poison Sting or String Shot. String Shot is the best thing that can come out of this. If he does String Shot, I'm going to be happy. Poison Sting can be really annoying. Okay, we're just going to reset that fight. Poison Sting can be especially annoying, especially when it decides to poison me. If it poisons me that early on in the fight, I cannot continue that fight. I need to actually reset, otherwise we're going to have to use more potions than I would want to. We do have an antidote, so if we get poisoned towards the end of the fight, that's not such a big deal. But early on, we need to conserve our health big time. Okay. We didn't get poisoned, so honestly, it's fine. We're going to Tail Whip twice, and then we're going to start tackling, and hopefully we'll get him down in 4 tackles. Okay, still not poisoned, so we're still okay. He is using a lot of Poison Stings, though, which has me a little worried. I do have to heal that. That's annoying, but I should be able to make this work. Okay, String Shot there. We would have lived, but, you know, I wasn't going to risk that on a 50-50. But it looks like we're getting out of this fight with full health, and that is just perfect. So, good health coming out of this fight. That's kind of important. One of the, like, back when this category was first done, it was run by a guy named Xerxes, I think he was called, Xerxes TV. I might be slightly butchering his name right now. It's been like 6 years since that was happening. But back then, RNG manipulation wasn't a thing that was known, and all of the runs were single segment, which also meant that if you would lose to a fight like that Weedle guy, your run would just be over. And that used to actually be kind of a big deal. So a lot of the trainers that we now consider, you know, annoying used to just be massive run killers. And yes, I estimate like this category is super volatile, so my estimate 100% accounts for stuff going wrong. But we'll see what happens. So we get to Brock here. This is another major fight in the game. The goal is just to beat him quick as we can. And, oh, that is not good. That is really not good. Now, we have good special, which helps, but that is not what we want to see. Okay, this is kind of bad. We may not win this. For presumably obvious reasons. We kind of want Onyx to go for Bite, I think. Or Screech and then Bite. Let's go. Now, because of our good special, this worked out. That was a little close for comfort, but we won. My PB on this, by the way, is a 235. The world record, I think, is, I want to say 226. Something along those lines. But yeah. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're going to move on to Route 3. This is where things become a little bit more interesting again. Route 3 has got some very interesting strategies that you wouldn't normally really get to see. We are going to have to heal our Squirtle. Possibly. I might do that. I might also not, actually. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Either way, we're going to change our settings to set because from here on out, we're going to be using Nidorino as our main Pokemon. And it's time for us to make our way through Route 3. Now, the first fight's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenient. This fight is just a bunch of bugs. We have the advantage, and this is a huge deal with having Nidorino, that our attack is phenomenal. We have a perfect attack DV. We have really good stats on just about everything else, and that really does help with these fights. These two string shots aren't actually a bad thing because that will guarantee that we two-shot this Caterpie. Yes, it was. We're gonna Leer on this one. Now, on the second one, I am going to actually not use Horn Attack, but instead we're gonna Tackle. And we're gonna do that on a few fights. After I get through this specific part, like the part here in on Route 3, I'm going to need an additional... Oh, that's an unfortunate miss. An additional 8 Horn Attacks. In an older route of this, or in like a regular route where you would, you know, try to get through the game, where you can just use centers and marts, we would use the center coming up just before Mount Moon to heal our Horn Attacks back. That's not going to be an option for us because, well, we can't use centers. That's not allowed. We can't, you know, that'd be against the rules. So instead, we are just going to conserve our power points a little bit, and a very big factor in this specific category is that we're going to be teaching moves over other moves that have almost no power points to give us extra power points. Okay, I'm going to heal that to full. I think I'm going to try it with the Squirtle at this health. We're going to toss that, because that's just going to clog up my inventory. Switch these two. And save the game, because this is another scary trainer. So, time for Short Sky. This Short Sky, the strategy for this one's actually kind of fun. So he leads off this Rattata. Our goal is we're going to Tail Whip him. And we're going to, from there on, just kind of tackle him until our Squirtle dies. And it's fine if it dies after a single hit. We got the Tail Whip off. That one Tail Whip already saves us a turn that we would have to otherwise use Nidorino for. And we didn't get hit by a Tail Whip from his end, and that just makes this fight a lot safer. He still deals a ton of damage, because mind you, we have not been Tail Whipped, and he just brought us down to 11 in just 2 hits. We get to the Ekans. We're going to use Leer here. We really do not want to see Wrap. Everything else is fine. And then Horn Attack twice, and that should hopefully get us through the fight. Leer, that's fine. We're still on 12 HP. That is decent. That is very decent. I can make this work, no problem. So, switching that back to front. That Squirtle is never going to be revived. That's going to be another common theme. Pokemon are going to faint, and they're going to stay fainted for the entire duration of the game. We are never going to get a chance to heal that. Now, one thing here is I kind of want the string shots not to hit. because I want to make sure that I'm still faster than the Metapods and Kakunas coming up. One string shot did hit, so hopefully we're still faster. We're going to swap Horn Attack to first slot. I'm still faster here, so that's very helpful. And from here on, I'm going to tackle just to conserve more Horn Attack power points, because we really do want to conserve those. Yeah, that crit does save me a turn, I think. So the Caterpie here, similar story. We're going to use Horn Attack on the first one, and then just switch to tackle past that. I don't actually know if this dies to a tackle. I hope it does. It does not. Extra Horn Attack might have been... Oh, come on, seriously? That's kind of annoying. Oh, seriously? Okay. This is annoying. We missed twice. And a high roll might have been able to kill me. Now, admittedly, at 4 health, I was going to use a potion after this fight anyway. So I guess it's not a huge deal, but... I don't like having to use potions like that. Yeah, as you can probably tell, our potion count is quite low. I think we have like another 3 or something. Which may seem like a lot, but really it's not. I need to switch to tackle. Yeah, we have 12 left. Yeah, our potion count isn't that high. We can pick up a few extra in Mount Moon, and we will. But, I'm gonna still have to try and avoid using them as best I can. Final trainer on this route, and then we can move on to Mount Moon. This last Buck Catcher is one of the easier ones. We have 4 Horn Attacks to deal with this Pokemon. As long as I can beat him within 4 Horn Attacks, we win. We're good. Now, during this, you might think that one of the main issues might be PowerPoint management, and it is a big issue, but we're never actually going to get to a point where we need to use Struggle, or at least we shouldn't. In the Pokemon Crystal No Centers, No Marts, that can actually be a thing. Because the thing with Pokemon Crystal No Centers, No Marts is there is a number of places there where you get a guaranteed free heal. And as a result, you kind of play around those free heals and make sure you get those. One of the big ones is in the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany, and there it's actually possible to need to struggle. In Red, that shouldn't happen. The biggest issue we actually run into is trying to get through the game with this few X items. In normal speedruns, we would use a number of X attacks and X specials and X accuracies and whatnot to help us beat the game. And we're not going to be able to get any of those. There's a few that we can pick up from the ground, and those are going to be tremendously helpful. But we only get to use 2 X accuracies, which is going to be only helping us in 2 very specific fights. Anyway, time for Mount Moon. So, a lot of items in Mount Moon. Lots of stuff we can pick up here. I don't need to really defeat any of the other Pokemon here. I can't catch any Paras if we do run into it, so that's a little unfortunate. But we'll deal with that later. Now, first things first, we need to collect a bunch of items, and there's actually 3 optionals that I'm going to be fighting here. In a No Centers, No Marts run, you generally don't want to fight a lot of optionals, because your power points are already limited as they are. But there are 3 specific fights that I am going to be doing, because we really do want that experience going into the late game. So we're going to go down here, and then there is a super nerd here that we can fight. That'll be the first of 3 trainers. This guy also has another potion behind him, so I can use that later on to help us get just an extra little heal item. So, pretty straightforward fight, this one. We have 4 horn attacks to deal with this. From there on, we are going to have to deal with it through Poison Sting. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to kill, so we switched to Poison Sting instead. I do not have the power points to use more than 2 moves. That is not possible, because the other 4 will be used on a separate fight coming up fairly soon. I would have actually liked that Screech to hit, because that would have guaranteed the 2-shot, but this should still guarantee the 2-shot. Alright, that gets us level 15, very useful. So, power point replenishing is going to basically come down to 2 things. Teaching new moves, because a new move will always start at the max amount of power points. And then there's a number of elixirs and ethers that we can pick up throughout the game. We are going to be picking up pretty much all of them. Now, if I do everything perfectly, I should have 1 power point restoring item left at the end of the game. We're going to pick up 1 more than we actually need, and that's mostly just in case things do go sour. Later on in the game, we are going to have to use Blizzard, for example, and that has a fairly realistic mischance. So we're going to use... we'll have an extra power point restoring items in case that is going to be needed. So here, we did not kill with 2 horn attacks, so again, I'm gonna just have to switch to Poison Sting. Okay, 2 more horn attacks here, and this should be an easy kill. Now, from this fight, we're gonna get level 16, and we're gonna be evolving into Nidorino, which is very helpful because Nidorino can actually learn the next move that we're gonna be teaching, Water Gun. Gonna teach that now so we don't forget. So at this point we're at 0 power points for Horn Attack, which also means we're gonna get rid of Horn Attack fairly soon. Now, we are going to also pick up the Moonstone. We aren't going to evolve with the Moonstone yet. But that's, like, the main reason we don't actually want to evolve right away is because the Cry, whenever we get a random encounter, is slightly shorter with Nidorino than it is with Nidoking. Saves a couple frames every time. So we're going to wait a little bit with evolving until we get close to the upcoming Rocket fight. But we have 1 more fight that we need to do before that point, is with a hiker here. Again, this is the 3rd and last optional that we're going to be doing, and all of these are just to help me get experience early and make this run a lot more consistent. Okay, there we go. So, Water Gun. All of these 3 Pokemon are going to just be 1-hit KO'd by Water Gun. And this experience is going to be exactly enough to help me get Thrash after the 3rd trainer, not counting the rival on Nugget Bridge. And Thrash is stupidly overpowered for this, and I'll explain why when we actually get it. But first, the Moonstone, and with that we're going to just make our way through the rest of the cave. There are manipulations for this, but because of all of those 3 trainers that I do actually have to fight for the experience, we are not going to just do any manips here. All 3 of those fights are hugely important in actually making this category work. And while it is theoretically possible to probably route it out without them. The run does become a lot more consistent because of those 3 trainers. Paris is a bit of an interesting encounter. I'm gonna Poison Sting this one. We don't have to. We should have enough experience, but Paris yields quite a lot of experience. This will make sure that I have exactly what I need. Like I said, we can't catch it anyway. There are no Pokeballs at this point in the game that we could pick up outside of the one we already did, so no catching yet. That's okay, we're gonna get a Spearow later on and trade that for Farfetch'd. Of course, we get to now see all of the Paras, which are very helpful for a normal run, but not so much for this category. So, first things first, we use the Moonstone here, and we're going to get ourselves Nidoking. After that, I'm going to be teaching Mega Punch. Mega Punch is another kind of a annoying move, because Mega Punch is somewhat inaccurate. We have some leeway, and it is fine if we miss a few Mega Punches, but we really don't want to miss that many. Yeah, we're gonna just get rid of Horn Attack here. Horn Attack is out of power points anyway, and we are not going to be restoring its power points anytime soon. And then we just get into this fight. Now, if I somehow, and this has only happened to me once or twice, if I somehow have enough power points coming out of Route 3 on Horn Attack, I can actually opt to teach Mega Punch after this fight and save me 2 Mega Punch power points in case I miss. It is quite rare for that to happen because you need a couple of crits at exactly the right moment. But in theory, it's possible to get here with enough Horn Attacks left over that you can Horn Attack the Rocket and only teach Mega Punch here. Speaking of, chat, after this next fight, we get to choose which fossil we want. So do let me know, which fossil do you want me to pick? Because honestly, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, most of these Pokemon don't actually go down to a single Mega Punch. Oh, that is actually annoying. The strategy is normally to Mega Punch, then Water Gun, but Water Gun got disabled. I'm seeing a fair few domes at first glance. We are never, by the way, actually going to revive the fossil. That's not a thing. I should probably have mentioned that too. Okay, I haven't counted them, but I think at first glance, Dome won, so we're gonna pick up the Dome fossil. Seeing a lot of Helixes come in, but that was, you know, after I'd already picked it up, so... Oh, speaking of, there's the Clefairy you guys were talking about. So, all of the rare encounters. So, that gets us out of Mount Moon. Now, another very important part coming up here. We can actually pick up another Great Ball here, and this is the only Great Ball that we're going to be getting for a while. With that Great Ball, I'm going to go into the grass right or left of Cerulean here, and we are going to attempt to catch a Spearow. Spearow is fairly common here. I want to say it's 25%. It could be more, but it's a fairly common encounter here. I need that in order to get Fly and Cut later on, and we cannot progress without it. So let's see what we find. Most runs I've actually had Spearow here very quickly. I was kind of hopeful that we would here as well, but so far no luck. Let's continue looking. Okay, there's Spearow. Now, I only have one Great Ball, so we only have one chance to catch it. That's also why I saved. But what we're going to do is we're going to Poison Sting once. It should survive that. The poison isn't great, actually. That's really... Actually, no, we have a... never mind, we have a antidote. I can use that antidote here. Okay, we got Spearow. I actually want to try and keep the Spearow alive in case I need it to... die on me at some point. I'm also going to use one potion on Nidoking, because we're coming up on one of the most deadly fights in this game. And I know I'm gonna be saying that a lot, by the way, because a lot of fights are very deadly. But this upcoming one is certainly high up on that list. First things first, rare candy here. And now we certainly want to save the game here because this upcoming rival fight is notorious for how deadly this can be. So the thing with this particular fight is the first Pokemon he sends out, Pidgeotto, has Sand Attack, and because of the nature of this run, we are extremely limited in how often we can miss. So if we get Sand Attacked, that could be very bad news. On top of that, I already have to use a not 100% guaranteed to hit move in Mega Punch. I'm fine with the quick attacks. It's a lot of damage, but we have the potions still. That's a big one. Okay. Now the second one's Abra. Instead of Mega Punching, I'm gonna go for Tackle. We don't really use the tackles anymore at this point. That crit saves a turn. Crit mattered. Mega Punch on the Rattata. Get the one shot there, very good. We miss on Bulbasaur, that's actually potentially very bad. Growl is another thing that can really screw me over here. That crit, okay. Pretty good fight. Not gonna lie, that was a pretty good fight. And that kind of puts us in a really solid position going into Nugget Bridge. We may have had a rough start to this run, but from here on, well, we're not in the clear yet, but things should get a little bit easier soon. Alright, so, Nugget Bridge. 6 trainers here, not counting the rival fight we just did. Most of these are fairly free, especially once we get to the second half of this. Early on, they're a little bit more difficult, but usually we should be okay here. Again, that crit mattered. Without crit, that Poison Sting wouldn't have killed. And then for Weedle, we're just going to use Tackle twice. So, Weedle just missed a Poison Sting, and this is actually something I should point out as well. That was a Gen 1 miss. It is possible in this game for both me and any of my opponents to miss any 100% accurate move 1 out of 256 times. That's due to... It's not really a glitch, because it is, like, the way they set it up is intentional, even though the mechanic itself isn't really the way they wanted it. But due to a coding error, if that glitch didn't exist, it would have meant that moves that shouldn't affect the opposing Pokemon have a 1 in 256 chance to hit. And that'd be bad. So instead, the developers decided to give every move a 1 in 256 chance to miss, regardless of its accuracy. Except if you've used an X accuracy, because that bypasses accuracy checks. But yeah, that could potentially, like, usually you'll see 1 or 2 in a run, and they can be very bad if they happen at the worst possible moment. If they happen to our opponent, it's usually not a big deal, though. We are down to just a handful of Mega Punches. You can kind of already see me running out here. We have 7 Mega Punches left. After this fight, we should have 5, which is enough, but it does kind of show that our power points are a little bit more limited than we would like them to be. Alright, so I'm gonna now use those 2 rare candies that we picked up to get to level 23. And that's going to allow me to teach the move Thrash. Now, Thrash is the most broken game for this particular category, and here's why. Thrash is first of all, it is an incredibly powerful move at like 100 base power or something. It is really, really high up there. I don't know the exact number, it doesn't really matter, but it is far more powerful than any other move that I have. That's one. Number 2, Thrash hits consecutively multiple times, either 3 or 4 times back to back. Now, the advantage of that is we just keep using the move, and that saves me some text boxes, which is very useful for a speedrun. Number 3, using Thrash in battle only uses 1 power point, regardless of how many Pokemon I defeat with it, as long as it falls within that 3 or 4 that I mentioned before. It's a coin flip whether it's 3 or 4. That means I can use Thrash on a number of Pokemon coming up, with never needing to use more than 1 power point. And in a category where power points are extremely limited, and we need to conserve every little bit of every power point that we can get, you can probably see why something like this is really, really broken. So for this next sequence of the games, we're just pretty much going to be using Thrash on most things we fight. And we're going to just have enough power points, because that's just how this works. Very useful move, and this is honestly this is why I needed those extra trainers, by the way. If we did not do those extra trainers, I would not have learned Thrash until at least 1, possibly 2, possibly 3 fights later. And that would... I mean, we only have 5 Mega Punches left. I'm gonna need 1 for the next battle. So we have 4 spare Mega Punches with the way that things played out. So I don't really have the Mega Punches spare. Reason for that being, we need to do this fight. We have 2 battles we can do here. I can either fight this hiker or the one to the bottom right here. The bottom right here is a little bit faster, as it only has 1 Pokemon and it will go down to a single water gun. But behind this trainer, by fighting him, I can get an elixir. Now, for those of you that aren't very familiar with Pokemon, an elixir is an item that will restore 10 power points on every single move that I have on a single Pokemon. So that can go up to 40 power points, which for this category is quite important. We need that elixir. There's no way around it. That one's hidden in the wall here, so that's why we needed to do that. That's why I have to fight that one. And then the rest of the trainers here are free, and we can just use Thrash on the remaining few. So, now that I have a small opportunity, for anyone that's watching in my channel, do head over to the RPG Limit Break channel as well. Definitely worth checking out. For anyone in my channel, in the RPG Limit Break channel, if you like these sort of challenges, worth checking out. All of the routes for these are public. They can all be found on the category extension leaderboards on speedrun.com. So if you're into like stupid, dumb categories, and this seems like an interesting challenge to do, certainly worth checking out. As for how you find those items casually, there's an item finder. There's also just checking every corner that looks a little off, because oftentimes that's where hidden items are at, though not always. Okay, one more trainer to do here. We're coming up on another somewhat scary battle. It's not as scary as the ones we've done so far, but after this trainer, we are going to have to make our way to Misty. And Misty, with her water-type Pokemon, can be a little bit scary. Usually Misty isn't. This is one of the reasons our stats are so important. As I mentioned earlier, we manipulate our stats to be near perfect. Pre-RNG manipulation, one of the stats that was super important here was whether or not we had enough speed. Specifically enough speed to outspeed Misty's Starmie at level 25. Also, I'll reiterate, we do not get any free heals, and we have to skip them if we can. This includes the free heal on the ship, which actually isn't even there, that's only in Fire Red. That includes the heal tiles in Lavender Town. And that includes the heal in Silphco. Those are all not allowed. So, though the category is called No Centers, No Marts, the naming is a little, it doesn't entirely cover what this category is, because it is basically a no shopping whatsoever, or buying any items, or spending any money of any kind. And no free heals of any kind. Alright. So, Walk of Shame here. In a normal run, you would use an escape rope in Bill's place to escape rope back to the center in Cerulean, but that requires me healing at the center in Cerulean, so that's not an option, and we're gonna just have to walk back instead. I'm gonna make my way into the gym. Did I pick up the ether? Yes, okay. I wasn't 100% sure for a second. But we do have the ether. I'm gonna use 2 of the potions that we have to heal up a little. That saves me just 1 potion. I can use that later on if I need it. So the thing is, if I use the escape rope from Bill's place, which I can still do, there's nothing stopping me from doing that, but it would put me back at Pallet Town. Entering a center in this specific game does not actually make that your last visit at center, only using it does that. Okay, good miss. So, even though I could escape out of buildings, which we're gonna do later on, I won't do that until I get Fly. Okay, time for Misty. Like I said, this is a potentially scary fight. This fight could be completely free and nothing weird's gonna happen, but it could be a rough fight. The Starmie is just push over, we thrash once, we win. The Staryu, I mean, the Staryu is gonna be a 2-hit KO. Bubble Beam is the scary move here. We're down to just 17 HP, so good thing I saved that potion. Gonna use that potion to get me back up to 40, which should be enough to get me through, because we're gonna be able to pick up some more heal items fairly soon. Okay, we get Bubble Beam, and now it's time to get out. I think we'll use that last potion here. Gets me to 40 HP. So this is all of the health that I will have at this point. You can probably now see why why I needed to pick up just about every single potion that there is in the game up to this point. Because even with every single potion up to this point, we barely have enough health to make everything work out. But yes, flying is completely fine. We have several HM Pokemon. We are going to use Farfetch'd for Cut and Fly. We're going to use Squirtle for Dig, Surf, and Strength. So we can fly anywhere once we actually have the HM, because that doesn't actually require me to even enter the center. In order to be able to fly to a location, we just need to have entered the town at some point. I mean, I can't heal, and if we dig out of a building, that will always set me back to Pallet Town. But once we've actually got the HM for Fly, that doesn't really matter anymore. Like, once we beat Search, at that point, we can just kind of fly everywhere. Okay. The underground here, 2 items that I want to pick up. First, that full restore. I stopped too early, but I always do too early there. Yeah, I stopped way too early. That X special is going to be saved up for the champion. Okay, 2 more battles here. What about healing attacks such as Leech Seed or Dream Eater? Leech Seed and Dream Eater are allowed. It is possible, like, you don't actually have to enter a center to heal that way. The healing definitely only restricts to free heals in the game. Now, the reason that we won't actually ever use things like Leech Seed and Dream Eater is because they do take up a move slot, and they lose you a lot of power points. So generally speaking, it's not really worth it. There are enough potions on the floor that we can pick up to make that a little bit easier. We also, coincidentally, have a very cool strategy. It's a bit slow, but there is a super safe strategy that I generally don't go for, but it is recommended for people that are doing this for the first time, where you can pick up the TM for Rest. And that can be used specifically in the Ghost Tower, because that should really be the only place that you'll ever need to use it anyway. In that case, we would teach Rest over Mega Punch once we get to the Lavender Tower, but we don't actually, like, we only would teach that after Lavender Rival, and we would have to get rid of it again, like, a few fights later. Really just a safety that we're not going to need. Alright, so, a couple other things. We are going to teach Bubble Beam over Water Gun here. That's just a small little upgrade. I probably should have mentioned this at the start at some point, but this is a glitchless run. In every sense of the word, we are going to be attempting to beat this game glitchless, using no centers or marts. Alright, SSN, and we're going to take a bit of a detour here, as we're going to go to the right first. The first room here has an ether. I do need to pay attention that I don't run into any trainers. Oh wait, the third door has an ether, the first door has a max potion. Got the 2 of them mixed up, but either way, 2 pretty significant heal items here that we can just kind of pick up for free. I'm debating on using that max potion. I'm really debating using that max potion right now. It's kind of a tough one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it really is kind of a tough one, because there is a super potion that I'm going to be picking up not too long from now. But yeah, first things first, there's this little trainer. This is another optional fight. We're gonna grab the rare candy. And this is kind of for, okay, I know I said this run was gonna be glitchless, but this is kind of to help me set up a sort of unavoidable glitch. It's a glitch that you cannot actually ever really avoid, so it's not banned in any way. But we are going to kind of abuse the mechanics. So in this game, whenever you have a stat change during a battle, something called the badge boost get applied on every one of the stats that you have the corresponding badge for. So earlier, for example, when the Voltorb screeched us in Mount Moon, our attack got moved up a little bit, or like our attack got a small buff as a result of that badge boost, because the first badge gives you more attack. What I'm going to be using that rare candy for is we're going to save one rare candy to use just before the champion fight, and that way the badge boost during the champion fight works out a lot more in our favor. Specifically, the badge boost is going to, because we use the X special in the fight, and that's going to use our that's going to increase like the special, but it's also going to increase all of my other stats by a small amount. And I need that specific badge boost so that I can outspeed the Alakazam on the final boss, on the final champion fight. If I don't use the candy before that, or specifically that fight, we're gonna level just before the Alakazam comes in, and I'll be slower, and that will kill me. This run works out quite close, let's just say it like that. You don't have a lot of leeway. Bike ticket text glitch is allowed. It is allowed in the normal glitchless run. Most people don't use it because it's kind of annoying, but there is no rule against it. At least not in this category. But really, it's not really recommended for use anyway, so... Alright, off the boat, we're gonna see that sail away, and we're gonna make our way to Search in a moment. Before I go to Search himself, I'm going to first trade off the Farfetch'd, or the Spearow to Farfetch'd, and we're gonna get the bike voucher. Alright, so, first that in-game trade. This is what we got the Spearow for. Didn't end up really needing to heal off the poison on it, but it's fine. So for glitchless, the instant text there might be recommended. I'm just specifically saying that for this category, no centers, no marts, instant text glitch isn't recommended. The reason being that you candy a lot earlier than you would in a normal glitchless run because of PowerPoint management. So, despite it being recommended in normal glitchless runs, it is not recommended specifically for this category. Because you're rarely actually going to get a lot of an advantage out of it, because you have 4 battles that you do, and then you have to get rid of it anyway because you have to open your menu. Otherwise, you don't have the power points. Yeah, we can't dig out of this building later on anyway, so we're not gonna bother. We have Farfetch'd. Time to go to Lieutenant Search. I am gonna have to use that max potion. We're down to 15 HP, which is less than Sonic Boom would deal. So we have to heal that up. Teach Cut to Farfetch'd. We're going to teach Dig to Squirtle. And it's time to go do cans. So only certain cans can be the first one. Generally, I'm just gonna save once I've found the first one because there's only 2 options for a lot of them anyway. Not that one. Yeah, no worries. Ask away, by the way, for anyone that does have questions about this run. This is... I imagine this is not a run that many people have seen before, because it's a rather obscure one, but it is... Like, no centers, no marts is just such a cool little category, in my opinion. I'm still hoping to be able to route it for Gen 4 at some point. That's definitely been proving to be the most difficult one. So, search. I'm gonna Bubble Beam the Voltorb twice, just so that I don't have to deal with a 50% chance to get into trouble with Thrash. Screech is completely fine. I don't mind that at all. We can Thrash from there on out to win the fight. So, here's what I'll say in response to the question whether I hate myself, you know, seeing as how I do categories like this. I do a lot of dumb categories, and they're surprisingly fun. Do with that information as you will. I'm playing on a Game Boy player right now, GameCube with Game Boy player. So we are with a Game Boy Advance SP as a controller, and I have my GameCube controller plugged in as a backup in case I need it. Is there a chance I will have no power points left? No. My routing works out in such a way that I should always have power points left. It can happen, I guess, early on if you get really unlucky, but at that point, like, we kind of should have reset before that point anyway. Alright, so we're gonna walk back. Again, I cannot actually dig out of the building. That doesn't work, so we're gonna have to just manually walk our way back. Not a huge deal. I don't really care that we have to. There's a few tiles of grass which can be annoying, but most of this should be fine. Once we get back, there's a few things we're going to do. We're going to be teaching Thunderbolt. We're going to teach that over Tackle. Tackle has kind of outlived its use. We still have a few Tackle power points, but we don't have that much. We're also going to get the bike. Very helpful. And we're going to make our way to Rock Tunnel. So it is worth mentioning, all of the Pokemon that have fainted up to this point will stay fainted for the entire remainder of the game, as we will not have a chance to revive them. It's actually very important for me to make sure that the Farfetch'd stays alive, because there's one fight towards the end of the game for which I need it to be alive. But that's literally one of the last fights in the game, so we don't really have to deal with that just yet. Right, move the bike up. I'm going to teach TM24 Thunderbolt over Tackle. Yeah, the Squirtle we used for basically up to Brock, and then there's one fight later on where we make the fight a bit more safe and a little less reliant on good luck as a result of Squirtle. But he does also faint as a result of that. Okay, this fight is 75% to go perfectly. No, 50% to go perfectly, 75% to go just fine, and, so 50% for perfect, another additional 20 fine that it is at least fine, and then 25% to be awful. Let's see what we get. Crits do not matter here. Not at all. We'll know on the last Pokemon what exactly happens here. We got the perfect fight. Fantastic. So yeah, like I said, Thrash is... it's a coin flip whether it's 3 or 4 turns. If it's 3 turns, we get confused after that. I can just use it again, but if we then hit ourselves in confusion, it can be very, very bad. You can also see at this point we have 6 Thrashes left, so we don't have a lot. That is enough, especially as at this point we have 2 elixirs, or 2 ethers and an elixir, so we have our power point restoring items for if we do need them. But it is something that, you know, I have to keep like half an eye on at some point. But all of these power points are basically routed out, so as long as I don't make any silly mistakes, we should never really get into trouble. So just before Rock Tunnel, there's one more heal item that I'm going to be picking up. So we're going to use Cut here rather than go around, and then Cut again here. Because this corner tile has a Super Potion. Very, very helpful Super Potion. And well, time for Rock Tunnel. Like I said, we do not actually have repels. Repels would need to be bought, and that is not an option for us. So instead, we're just gonna have to hope not to get a lot of encounters. This is certainly one of those points where RNG is kind of gonna come into play. This place itself really isn't that bad. We should be able to get through this fairly easily. This level 30 right here is important because that means that there's no, there's an Oddish coming up. And if we're not level 30, that Oddish is a damage range. And if you miss that damage range, that could potentially lose me a full restore or something along those lines, but like a big heal item, we don't want that. So for this one, we're just gonna Thunderbolt again. This is also one of the main reasons why we really wanted Nidoking for this. Nidoking just kind of breezes through a lot of this game. We don't really have the time or opportunity to like get a full team of Pokemon together. That's not worth it. And Nidoking just makes this very, very doable. We're just going to use Thrash on this one. So Oddish and Bulbasaur here. Like I said, one of them could have been a damage range if not for me being level 30 already. And this just comes into play with that, you know, couldn't or had to do a few optionals earlier and needing to make sure that we candied on time and you know, not getting instant text. Those are all kind of linked together in a lot of little fights like this one. Okay, just making our way through this place. There's 2 more required fights for me to do. Neither of those 2 tend to ever really be an issue. Like, Rock Tunnel is just kind of slow, but there's not really that much of a challenge here. Because, honestly, like, if I'm gonna be real honest with you guys, the hardest part of the run is kind of already done. There's one massive RNG fest still coming up. And then there's a few smaller ones, but we're honestly kind of already through the hardest part of the game. Specifically, like, basically anything up to the moment that you get Thrash is where a lot of bad things can happen. Once you've gotten past that and you've gotten past Misty, you get to the SSN, there's a bunch of extra heal items there. I mean, there's a full restore on the way and the max potion inside. Just before Rock Tunnel, you get a super potion. So we kind of are now starting to collect all of those heal items that we've been missing out on. And as a result of that, the run actually becomes a fair bit safer once we get past the early parts. So things like Pressure and Spite, even in later generations where this run exists, have never really been an issue. Spite is... I don't know if Spite exists in this game. There's no Pokemon that we fight that has it, or that's ever gonna use it. In Gen 2, that is a thing, But in Gen 2, that doesn't really matter either, because most of the time your PowerPoint management kind of accounts for things like that. But even in the Gen 3 and the Gen 5 run, where things like pressure and whatnot are a thing, it's still rarely really an issue. Now, probably the most volatile that I've actually successfully completed so far is Emerald. Because you actually, like, you kind of want a Zigzagoon early, and you don't have to rely on it for heal items. But in the current Emerald world record for this category, there is a fair few pickup potions from Zigzagoon. Yeah, the biggest issue with these runs really aren't what most people would think. Healing isn't the biggest issue. Even PowerPoint management isn't really the biggest issue. The biggest issue that you tend to run into with runs like this are not having X items, and therefore having to kind of deal with a lot of fights under-leveled and under-equipped. Like, in a little bit, I'll actually be doing one of the worst fights in the game, and we'll be doing that just to make another fight a little less bad. Because the fight we would otherwise, or that we kind of make easier with it would otherwise basically be unwinnable. So we go around here, and we go talk to this guy. So the Gambler, we're just going to use Thrash. Yeah, I think we do that, right? Yeah. So after we're done with this fight, we're going to get to the Underground, which has another elixir, and we're going to also use the elixir that we've already picked up. So the thing with Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and this is kind of one of the fun parts about routing these, the speedrun No Centers, No Marts for Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald looks vastly different from what a normal run would look like, mainly because of that X item thing. Elixir. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, few tiles early, but that works. So the reason for that is simply Mudkip in Emerald does not work because of no X items. It's just, there's no win condition there. So the entire approach becomes just entirely different, and it makes for really interesting routing in some of these. Alright, so now we're gonna buy we're gonna spend money on one of two things that I'm allowed to spend money on. Now, I know this is No Centers, No Marts, but this purchase is required by the story, and you cannot finish the game without glitches and without doing this. So this is one of two purchases that is allowed by this category rules, and that is to buy a single freshwater from the Mart here. We need that freshwater in order to enter Saffron City. Without it, it's just impossible, and you cannot progress the game past a certain point. That is one of two purchases that we are allowed to do because it would otherwise just be impossible. There is I have attempted to run this in Fire Red. Fire Red proved to be way more challenging than Red. And right now there is no working route for Fire Red for this. That particular attempt got stuck on Bruno specifically. Toss the nugget. We're going to each fly 2 ducks. And it is time for us to go to Lavender. No, that's not true. Hold on. Hold on. I'm making a little mistake here. We do need to fly, but we don't fly here yet. I'm getting this mixed up with the normal any percent glitchless. Instead, we are going to go to the Celadon game corner here. That's what we needed to do. See, the ghosts, in a normal any percent glitchless run, you would pick up the or you would buy a Poké Doll, and you would use that to get rid of the Marowak in the Lavender Tower, and that kind of allows you to progress. Problem is, that's not an option for us, because that would require me buying something. So instead, I'm going to just have to do this the old-fashioned way, and we're gonna actually have to get the Sylph Scope. So yeah, we're not gonna buy any of the drinks, of the other drinks at the rooftop to get TMs, because that would actually require me spending money for something optional. And that's kind of one of the other changes that we have in this route. I cannot actually get Rock Slide, which is gonna make Lavender Tower a little bit more difficult. And I, as a result, also cannot get Ice Beam, so we're gonna be picking up Blizzard later on, because you can pick that up from the floor. Yeah, just lots and lots of small little differences as a result of that one restriction of no buying and no healing. You know, that's kind of the beauty of this, right? We, because of that one extra restriction, which is a fair restriction, to be honest, there is quite a lot there. But as a result of that, just a lot of things change. And I would argue it makes this a really interesting little category. We're gonna talk to this guy, fight him. We just thrash on this one. A little unfortunate we didn't defeat the Coffin. Not a huge deal though. Thrash is still always going to be a minimum of 3 hits, so we get the 3 hits off here anyway. Right, I always forget that I need to talk to him again before he actually drops the lift key. We do need this key. Now, another thing that we would normally buy at the Mart that we can't buy in this category is the Hm4 Horn Drill. Now, we are still going to get Horn Drill, and it'll be used for specifically 2 fights. But we can't buy it, so one little advantage of having to come over here anyway is we can just pick it up here. So we're gonna just slowly rotate our way through these. These spinning tiles always take forever. Not much we can do about that. And then I take this one because the item that we're passing here, that is Tm7 Horn Drill. I should have gone 1 up, but this works. This one. And then we can take the elevator to the 4th floor. So there's a couple rockets down here. Honestly, these 2 rocket fights tend to be fairly easy. So we Thunderbolt and Thrash on this one. And then the other one, Thrash here. Now, these aren't always going to be one-shots, and that's kind of okay, except Sand Attack is a problem. I can't really afford to miss. That's bad. That's actually really bad. Okay, we may have a bit of a problem here. I've never had this fight go this poorly. We have heals, but Us hurting ourselves in confusion 3 times in a row is really, really bad. Crap. Okay, we won. That took way more health than I should have. And this is how this category suddenly goes from, everything's easy, everything's fine, to really, really scary. That was, by the way, not HN1 miss. We got sand attacked. Alright, on to the next one. Bubble Beam. PowerPoint-wise, I should still be okay. We lost 2 Thunderbolts when I really shouldn't have, but we should have enough that I can make that work. Another wrap. That sucks. Alright, okay. We're still okay. I'm pretty sure we're still okay here. So, time for Giovanni. Now, I kind of wanted to say this fight's actually isn't all that hard, but I'm kind of worried at this point that I'm going to jinx it again because we already have. But yeah, the Onyx and Rhyhorn aren't really an issue, and the Kangaskhan shouldn't generally not be a threat. We can just kind of thrash the Kangaskhan. It'll take a few hits to go down, but Kangaskhan's damage output usually isn't that high. I don't like Comet Punch. Crits Comet Punch. No, this is bad. Once the first one crits, all of them crit. We're down to 23 HP. I don't like this. We are not in a good position anymore. And we're some ways away from actually picking up another heal item. This admittedly has me worried. Okay. How are we looking heal item-wise? Yeah, I can't use that fresh water. I guess we just have to use the full restore. I need that health, but this is scary. We're gonna take a lot of saves in this next place. I can tell you that much. We already used the super potion after we got confused and hit ourselves in confusion 3 times in a row. That forced me into using the super potion. So kind of as a result of that, we are more limited than I would normally be. That doesn't have to be a massive issue. There are still 2 heal items that we're going to be picking up fairly soon. And we're through a lot of the scary fights. This tower is gonna matter, though. I cannot afford to lose that much health in specifically this tower. And this tower kind of is notorious for losing me a lot of health. Is there a super potion behind Giovanni? I didn't even know there was one. If there is a super potion behind Giovanni, I didn't know it existed. I might route that in as a safety. That is actually something I wasn't aware of. And here I thought I knew every hidden item just about. Now, there are a few that we tend to skip, although that one, like I said, I just wasn't aware it even existed. Good call. Good to know. I will make a mental note of that and look into the exact location at some point and add that to my route. That's a good little safety. Anyway, we should still be okay, honestly. Like I said, this tower can be it becomes a little bit more scary, but I'm gonna just save before every fight that we need to do here, and we should be okay from there. We're just gonna have to keep running from the ghosts. There are... 6 channelers, I think, that we need to go through. So 6 scary battles, and then we should be in the clear. Like, as long as I can get out of this place with decently high health. Doesn't have to be super high, just decently high. Like, preferably over half, but realistically, like, over a third. We should be okay. Yeah, this is where the scary fight comes in. These Ghastlies do not go down to a single hit unless I crit, and they do have Nightshade, and Hypnosis, and Supersonic, or Confuse Ray. And this is why this is potentially bad. Like, Confuse Ray is probably one of the better things, unless we... Okay, yeah, no. If that's our first fight, we're just gonna redo it. Confuse Ray is generally the better option, as long as we don't start hitting ourselves in confusion a bunch, but our confusion luck has been really, really bad so far. Again, I don't mind Confuse Ray as long as we can hit through it and we don't hit ourselves. That's the important part. It's completely random what they do. Okay, that's better. So coming out of this fight with 84 HP is fine. I take the elixir. Get bullied by the random encounters a little bit, but that's okay. So up on this next floor is the heal tile. And I mentioned before that it is possible to skip that heal tile, therefore we are going to skip it. We're still going to do that, don't get me wrong. But I want to quickly elaborate how, because there is a path here, but you'll see that is currently blocked off by a trainer. Now, if we have the trainer walk towards us, it's actually possible for us to force that trainer out of the way, and that opens up the path. But we can only do this once. So, like, once we get past this point in the tower, there is no turning back. Not that we would really want to turn back anyway, but that's kind of a thing. Don't like that. Don't like that either. Resetting the fight. We're too low on health now. This tower is not proving to be fun today. Oh boy. Yeah, so if we get stuck in paralysis, I have to reset as a result of not having my full restore anymore. Normally going into this tower, I would have a full restore so that I can kind of heal up at one point. Today, that isn't going to be an option for me. This is really bad tower. Okay, so far, not very good, but we can still make it work. I still believe. Honestly, let's just... yeah, fine, whatever. We get past the Hunter. We're lower on health than I want to be, but we got past the Hunter. So there's 3 more trainers that I have to fight on this floor. This next one we have to do because it gives me an X accuracy, and we need to make... we need this specific X accuracy for the 5th rival battle, and then the other X accuracy is going to be used on Lorelei. We can't really get past either of those without. So this is also one of the scarier ones because this guy, this trainer has 5 Ghastlies. I'm gonna continue the fight, we'll just see how we get out of it. That crit would have been really nice on the turn later. I wanted to Bubble Beam, but Thunderbolt works. Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna need some luck here, so do send me your energy. This is brutal. This is actually a brutal tower so far. Again, Confuse Ray can be fine. Not if we start hitting ourselves. We're down to really low HP again. This hurts. This hurts big time. I need to do this fight. I need that axe accuracy. And like I said, there's no way for me to come back to this. 3 more battles, then we're in the clear. That's not a joke. Once we've passed the next... This trainer and then 2 more. Both of those only having 1 Pokemon. Okay. That's a good first Ghastly. Down, please. I can't heal that because I don't have any full heals or full restores anymore. Which means that the next time I could heal is once we get to Safari Zone. That's too far away. Rare candy here will not actually help me one-shot their Pokemon. That does not work. Yeah, we need too many rare candies, and we just don't have that. So Lick is completely fine as long as they don't para me. Lick is only 30% to paralyze. Confuse Ray is fine as long as I don't hit myself too much. There's only 1 X special along the way, and I need that for the rival at the very end. I don't beat Champion without it. Come on. Okay, this hurts. Yeah, the healing zone in tower is banned. We're not allowed to do that. This is actually the worst this fight's ever gone for me. Like, it's certainly winnable, but This is just the worst this fight's ever. This is one of the worst fights of the game. And I have not seen it go this poorly in a while. Mind you, if we crit a Ghastly, we do one-shot it. So it is possible for me to get through those Ghastlies. We're like 16% to crit an opposing Pokemon, I believe. I mean, each of these individual events have happened many a time. The only main difference is normally I have at least one full restore going into this, so that if we get parried, it's not immediately a reset. My estimate has about 15 minutes worth of leeway. And even with this fight going this poorly, we should still have a few minutes left. Estimate accounts for even stuff like this. With how volatile a category this is, I can kind of just know that it can happen. Okay, this is not the result I wanted, because this is going to make the last two fights more difficult, but I can work with this. It does mean that Nightshade immediately makes me faint, which sucks, but we will just have to accept that. The advantage of the other two fights is there's only one Ghastly here. Well, Ghastly or Haunter. Ghastly on this one, it's a Haunter on the other one. Which means all I need is just a crit Thunderbolt, or it getting stuck in... See, there we go. Or it getting stuck in Paralysis, or it doing Confuse Ray and then not actually killing me, or it using Lick and then not paralyzing me. So there's a lot of win conditions for these other fights. But yeah, these fights have certainly been going a lot worse than I would like them to. This is one of those runs where, just because of the nature of the run, it can be like this sometimes. There we go. Yeah, we would have survived a crit Lick. Lick, I think, does about 4, so a crit would have only done about 8. So we would have survived even if Lick crit. We are going to be... No, we'll do that after this next fight. So except that one fight going stupidly poorly, we are still alive and we're still going. We have to beat this Marowak. Usually it's a one-shot, but it's not guaranteed to be a one-shot. And this is why I saved before it, because I know that if it isn't a one-shot, that can happen. This Marowak isn't as bad as the Ghastlies. I'm just gonna put that out there. These are generally not as bad. The stats of the Marowak here are random. If he has a lower special DV, we just outright one-shot every time. If it's a higher one, if we crit, we do. Or if we get a high roll, we do. See, that's what I mean. Like, half the time you just one-shot this thing, so I wasn't really worried about this one. So we're gonna use the Elixir here. I'm gonna just play it safe. I don't even care. I'm gonna be... It looks... Because I'm comparing against my average, which, like, that is a average balance speed is a 235. Looks like we're going to be about plus 11 minutes on that, so we're still under estimate, but not by a lot. As we're going to get out of this tower, I will have another 3 to 4 minutes worth of leeway in case things do end up going poorly. So we have some leeway. But we're definitely going to end up getting quite close to estimate. I'm gonna save again. I don't want to risk anything here, especially with these are the last 2 fights until we get a max potion. After these 2 fights, I can pick up a max potion and we'll be okay for a while. I don't know if that crit mattered. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. These 2 tend to be quite bulky. Alright, last fight until we can heal again. We are out of this place with way less health than I like, but we live. And that's kind of a big deal. The run is still alive. It's on life support, but still alive. Yeah, my main reason for saving there is because several of these Pokemon will have quick attack. And I'm kind of scared of a quick attack crit here. Okay, we're out of here. We did it. That was the worst tower I've ever had, but we're out of here. Like, so far this run has been a great showcase of how bad this run can be. It is certainly possible for this run to go a lot better, and I have had it go a lot better before. But I guess it's a good showcase of how bad this run could potentially end up being if you get unlucky. Yeah, so I'm about plus 12 minutes, so we're looking at like a 147 pace right now. Or sorry, 247, which is 3 minutes below estimate still. So still possible. We gotta keep being hopeful. Okay, a couple items to pick up here. First things first, there's this rare candy. From there, we're gonna go all the way to the bottom, so we're just gonna wait here for a little bit. And then there's a max elixir near the bottom. You do not get Pokeballs from Oak in this game. There is a single Pokeball in Viridian Forest that we pick up. Okay, sorry about that. My controller just decided to die on me. Can we? Yes, please. Not sure how that happened. My controller just randomly turned off. I'm using a GBA Advance SP as a controller, and for some reason it just decided to shut down. That's not very helpful, I can say that much. But, oh well. Alright, so now we're gonna go purchase the second and last thing that I can actually buy. or the second and last thing that we can actually spend money on in this run, and that is a single ticket into the Safari Zone. No, you do not get Pokeballs from Professor Oak. No way to do that. Not in this game. This is the only gen where you do not get free Pokeballs from the Professor. Maybe if you do Gary too, I don't know. We never do that fight because it's terrible. Be a really bad battle to begin with. Yeah, okay. So, I guess you can get Pokeballs from the Professor, but doing the second rival battle in this is really, really slow, and absolutely not worth it in any way. So there's that max potion that I was talking about. And the full restore. The full restore is for the Elite Four later. We're gonna try to conserve that for the Elite Four. Now, there is another full restore that I am going to be able to pick up in Victory Road, so if we do have to use it, I can, but it's really preferred if I don't need to. Okay, no more room for items. That means I can use Carbos. Use the Max Potion. That makes me a lot less terrified all of a sudden. We can use Tm7. We teach that over Mega Punch. And then HMO3 Surf right there. And with that, we can dig out. So, Safari Zone done. We're going to make our way to Saffron next, and we're going to do the last bit of the rocket sequence. Is healing with the invisible PC allowed? No. No PC either. Also, PCs don't heal in this game in general, but even if you would, like in other No Center, No Marts categories where the PC does heal, that is also not allowed. There's no buying and no free heals of any kind. Okay, so time for Silphco. We're gonna get started by going to floor number 10 and beating up a single grunt. That's mainly because I want to get Earthquake, and Earthquake's kind of a huge deal. Again, I'm gonna save because we are so low on heals. Like, this health that we have right now pretty much has to last me until Victory Road? Yeah, I think Victory Road. Preferably longer. But I can't really afford to take a lot of damage everywhere. What's my PB? 235. The fresh water is bought at the vending machine. There is no fresh water that we can get beyond that. So that one fresh water we can buy. So we're gonna grab the rare candy, the TM for Earthquake, and the Carbos here. We're going to use the Carbos. We're going to teach Surf to Squirtle. And then we're going to teach Earthquake over Thrash. So I'm going to use this opportunity real quick while we do some menuing here to quickly mention to anyone that's watching through my channel, my personal channel, do check out the marathon going over at twitch.tv/RPG Limit Break. Link is in the title as well. That'll link you to where the bigger event is at, and that's where I'll mainly be reading chat at. As we're currently doing a marathon run for Questing for Glory. Fantastic RPG marathon, definitely worth checking out. Alright, so we're going to take a small detour here. We're going to momentarily take a small detour here, but first I should get the key. Right, so we Earthquake this this Arbok. Not really a hard fight here. And I'm gonna quickly grab the key. We're gonna use that key to grab another couple of items that we really do want to get. As this place has an X accuracy and it has an elixir. We want both of those. That's where the elixir is at. And from here, we're going to go up one floor. And then at the bottom left of this floor, there should be an X accuracy. So that X accuracy is to be used on Lorelei. So now we're going to make our way to rival number 5, and this particular fight is one of the instances of where we use our Horn Drill power points. We have 2 battles that we can use it on. This is going to be the first of 2. Before I do, it's actually important that I use my rare candies, or some of them, to get to level 41. These stats matter, and without them, that could potentially become a problem, so we really do want those levels here. This game, I believe the main reason why we needed that is to make sure that we outspeed the Alakazam. Horn Drill, or basically the way that an X accuracy works in the first 2 generations of Pokemon, is it allows me to skip accuracy checks, so the game will not actually calculate hit or miss, it'll just always hit. The condition, though, is that Horn Drill only ever hits if you're faster than the opposing Pokemon. So I need those levels to ensure that I'm going to be faster than everything, since we do not get the batch boost, which you would normally get in this fight. X accuracy. Whirlwind is fine. And then I can just Horn Drill. This fight's free. The quick attack is a little annoying, especially because of that crit, but I think this is fine. 102 health should still be more than enough. Now, it doesn't really matter that I use all of my Horn Drill power points, because before we get another chance to use Horn Drill, we're gonna have Elixir multiple times. And there we go, that's the rival done. On to Giovanni. Now, I will say, at this point, we're nearly 2 hours in. and I still only have 3 badges. But once, like, kind of the way that we do it in Pokemon Red, and this is true for this category and for, like, your regular speedrun, is we kind of clear out all of the side quest stuff, like all of the story stuff that we need to do, and then we kind of just rush all of the remaining gyms. As a result of that, we are, after we're done with this, we're going to do Koga, and we have a small bit of story that we need to do, and then we're going to do all of the remaining gyms after that, in fairly quick succession. So despite having less than an hour left and still only having 3 badges, that's going to be okay, because we're already mostly done with story stuff anyway. I'm gonna open the door here. We are gonna save the game before I fight Giovanni, and then we get our second fight against Giovanni. After which we can make our way to Koga. So we're gonna Earthquake this. Also, real quick for everyone in my chat, link to the channel that we're on in the title. I'm seeing a few people ask about that now. Okay, that crit mattered. That is not normally a one-shot. We have enough elixirs to get through the rest of the game with just Nidoking, so I don't actually have to worry about main switching anymore. It's not going to come into play. Nidoking will be the Pokemon that we use up until the very last moment. We don't actually even pick up the Master Ball because we don't need to. We can get the Master Ball in the back here, but right now it kind of just clogs up our inventory. So instead what we're going to do is we now won, and we're just going to dig out. No point in sticking around there. Alright, time for us to enter the 4th gym for us, but 5th gym story-wise. This gym is going to open up the ability to use Surf. And the reason we're doing this one now is so that I can surf to Cinnabar, because there is a little bit of story still left there. Specifically, the bit of story that we need to do in Cinnabar is going to give us 2 additional rare candies, and it's going to give me the TM for Blizzard, and Blizzard is a huge deal. A massive upgrade from Bubble Beam. Okay, so that is this fight done. The second trainer here is a little bit more scary, actually, as he has a Hypno, which can do quite a lot of damage with Confusion, so I'm going to save before that fight. Usually this fight isn't all that bad, but it's just on the off chance that we do get hit by a crit Confusion, it would just do a lot of damage, and I can't really use a lot of damage right now. These are our last 2 Earthquakes, and we will need Earthquake for the final, for the gym leader here, but this is where those ethers and elixirs that we've been picking up really do come into play. We one-shot. I don't know if that's guaranteed a one-shot here because of the early candies that we do. It might be. Max Ether. Earthquake. So, Koga, fairly easy fight. There's 2 strategies that I can choose to go for. There's the safe strategy, and there's the more risky strategy for if you really want to go for a good time. Because this is a marathon, we're going to go for the safe strategy, which basically means we are going to Earthquake all 4 of his Pokemon. The risky strategy actually lets the Weezing self-destruct so that we can set up Red Bar. Red Bar saves several minutes, but for the sake of the marathon, it is a little bit risky because there's a lot of fights that could go a lot poorer as a result of that. So yeah, here's the safe strategy. That's what we're going to be working with. Now, it's kind of important that I don't forget to pick up the Hm4 Strength. And then once we have that, we're going to make our way to the Cinnabar Mansion. I do not want to admit how many times I've forgotten to talk to this guy, and then once I needed to use strength, I realized, oh, I never picked it. One of those things that you tend to forget quite easily. It's kind of bad when you do forget. Alright, so we're going to use the remaining rare candy to get to level 46. We're going to Farfetch'd to fly back to Pallet Town, and we're going to the mansion. Mansion is going to have a fair few random encounters. Not much we can do about that. On the water, we may see some random encounters as well. It's fine if that happens. I don't really care. Oh wait, that's the wrong Pokemon. Let me teach Strength to the correct Pokemon. Being Squirtle. Surf. So it's kind of random how many encounters we're going to get here. Usually it's not that bad. Usually we'll only see like 1 or 2 here. So to actually elaborate on the world record question, the world record for this is actually faster than I thought it was. It's a 2:15:59. For the longest time, it used to be a 2:28. I thought it was still a 2:28, but apparently a few months ago it was broken, and now the record is sitting at a almost 2:16. That's kind of the thing with this category. There's a lot of little ways that you can do it faster, but it requires good RNG. This is certainly one of the more volatile categories for Pokemon. But, I mean, in theory, you could manipulate this entire place and not have encounters. Same with several other places in the run. So there's a lot of possible optimizations to do in this category. But it does make the run quite technical if you do want to go for those. We pick up the Carbos. I'm gonna pick up the TM for Blizzard here. That's to replace Bubble Beam. And then at the end of this place, there's 2 more rare candies. Now, I cannot use both of them, but we are going to be using one of those 2 rare candies. Going up here, there's one more statue that we need to interact with. So this category has been attempted in Fire Red, but has not successfully been routed yet. Fire Red is quite a bit more difficult than Red and Blue is for this specific category. Right now, No Centers, No Marts has been done in this one, in Crystal, in Emerald, and in Black 1. All of the other ones are not routed as of right now. So, I'm gonna use that rare candy. Only once. Level 47, we're gonna use the Carbos. Roll all the way down again, because I do need to teach Blizzard. Teach that over Bubble Beam. And this is pretty much our final moveset. So I'm gonna now pick up the key here, we're gonna get out, and we're gonna start doing some gyms. That was a pretty alright mansion. We didn't get that many encounters there. Let's go to Celadon and let's go fight Erica. Rare candies do not nerf stat growth. And they don't really in newer gens either. They're completely separate. They're separate in newer gens, and they are in this gen as well. Alright, just 2 trainers here. This is where Blizzard really comes into play. We just Blizzard 4 times, and that should win us everything. I can afford to miss once. Although I really don't want to. Blizzard is 85% accurate or 90% accurate, so it shouldn't miss all that often. Plus, we do still have the full restore in case I do end up needing it. There's 2 full restores I can pick up later, so if it comes down to it, then we'll grab those. Yeah, if you can need to level 100 before being done with your EV training, in some gens that was an issue, although in more recent gens that wasn't really either. Anyway, Erica done. Fight's done and over with. On to our next gym. That was actually a pretty good fight. No silliness there. Cut away this thing, and then we're gonna do Blaine next. Now, Blaine's gym is quite fun. It's a little bit of a quiz that we get to do. See what we've learned along the way, and if we do everything perfect, we do not have to fight any of his trainers. Make a mistake, however, that means we have to fight, and that would be kind of bad. Now, lucky for us, the answers are always exactly the same. So, question number 1. Caterpie evolves into Butterfree. Yes, it does. Got through that one, that's 1 down. Skip this guy anyway. And number 2. There are 9 certified league badges. It's not true, we know there to be many, many more. It's gonna look like I'm answering yes on everything, but that's just because I'm either mashing A or B. But here, Poliwag evolves 3 times. Well, at the time of this game's release, it did not have 3 different evolutions. Nowadays, you could kind of make the case that yes, indeed it, but. So we have Thunder moves are effective against ground moves. That is definitely a no. This one is all about, you know, Pokemon of the same kind of level are not identical. This is true. Even in this game, DVs were a thing. One of the reasons why some Nidorans are doable and some are not. And then, honestly, everyone's favorite. It is, you know, the statement is TM28 contains Tombstoner. Now, we of course all know that it is Rock Tomb, not Tombstoner, but clever try. Actually, Rock Tomb doesn't exist. I think it's big, but either way. So that's how we get to Blaine. This fight's really straightforward, honestly. We just Earthquake 4 times and we win. That is all. Now, Blaine is really never that difficult. In most casual playthroughs, if you've ever fought Blaine, he'll use super potions when he's at full health, and he'll do all kinds of silly stuff. Like, his AI makes sense. Fact of the matter still is, though, we Earthquake 4 times, we win. Move on. Get the Volcano batch, and that gives us 6 batches. We dig out. And now it's on to fight Sabrina. Before I go there, though, I'm going to quickly go into the menu and use an elixir. Very important for me not to forget that. I have forgotten this elixir before, and that can kind of make this upcoming battle a bit of a nightmare. Because then, at that point, you do not have enough earthquakes. Because it is 4 earthquakes for Sabrina. We would only have 2. So yeah, diagonal down, and that gets us to Sabrina. Alright, we're doing quite well. Now that I'm saying that, it's gonna go wrong, probably, but I feel like we're doing quite well here. Now, we picked up a few extra Carboses along the way. Those aren't really needed to ensure that we're faster, because we're always going to be faster. But in case, you know, we weren't already, we are going to be faster. At the end of the day, the Carboses are more so needed to make sure that we're faster at Alakazam of the final rival fight. But it's a nice little bonus here. And there we go, that's Sabrina. 7 gems down, 1 more to go. I'm gonna go to the teleport tile here first, because that way digging out becomes a little bit faster. And then we once again use Fly, this time to get to Viridian. So, time for the last remaining gym. Gym's been locked off since the start of the game. We couldn't really enter it, but now we can. Let's see who's inside. Quite easy on this first one. We just blizzard. The horn goes down. We have a black belt coming up immediately after. This black belt can be quite scary if you're low health, but with the health that we have, it shouldn't really be an issue. So it is this fight, and then we have Giovanni, and then we're gonna make our way to the end. At this point, we really only have 8 battles left in the game, which kind of just goes to show how close we are to the end. It's still gonna take us a while, but we do only have, including this one, 8 battles left. Alright. Yeah, all of the remaining trainers at this point have 5 or 6 Pokemon. Now, instead of going all the way around and talking to, and taking the spinning tile to Giovanni from here, we're gonna just leave the gym and re-enter, because that is actually slightly faster. That way, this guy gets reset to the other position, and we can just kind of pass him like that, and that saves us having to take those spinning tiles. Also, final gym leader, here's Giovanni. Turns out he's actually the Viridian City gym leader, besides being, you know, the head of Team Rocket. Now, his team is super easy for me to fight. We Earthquake all of the first 4 Pokemon, and then we just Blizzard right on, and we win. I do need to remember that after this fight, I have to use an Ether on Earthquake, because we will need those Earthquake power points. Because we're going to be down to 0 again after this fight. That's fine though, we have enough Ethers to work with. The last Earthquake. Now this Rhydon, if it would get an attack, it usually does Fissure. And since we're faster, Fissure doesn't actually affect us at all, so. Easy fight right there. Get the Earth Badge. And that is our last one. On to the Elite Four. Now, our trip to the Elite Four will not be a fast one. I'm just going to put that out there. We have to deal with the rival, and then Victory Road has a ton of random encounters that we can't really do much about. So it's going to take us a little while to get through but we'll get through everything. We're using Nidoking. Let's save the game, we haven't done that in a little while. And let's get to the rival fight. So normally this fight is super interesting to do. His first Pokemon, the Pidgeot, is always only ever going to use Agility because of the way that the AI works. Basically, the way that it works is the game thinks Agility is a super effective move because it is Psychic and we Poison type. It is the only super effective move it has, and therefore Agility is the best option. So this Pidgeot's never going to do anything, and normally we would use that to set up here. However, in this particular run, we can't really do that because I don't have the X items to help me set up. I have 1 X Special and 1 X Accuracy, and that's it. So that's not really an option, and instead we are going to just do this the old-fashioned way. Gyarados, we Thunderbolt. It's also why we needed to restore those Earthquake power points. as we can Earthquake the next two Pokemon, the Growlithe and the Alakazam. And then to deal with Venusaur, we're just gonna have to use Blizzard a few times. Fine Whip is fine. I'm okay with that. That's an annoying miss. Especially combined with that crit. I think I can safely Earthquake. Yes. That was a really annoying miss. But we win. We'll have 3 full restores going into the Elite Four, so this should be okay. I can heal after Agatha, or after Lorelei. Yeah, we're not gonna really Elixir until Lorelei. No real need for it. Quick batch check, and then once we've passed through all of this, we can go into Victory Road. You surf. I don't have room for items. Because I still have that TM. There's the Max Ether. So there's an extra full restore here, and then there's one at the end of Victory Road. I'm going to be picking up both of those just to help make this a little bit safer once we are actually at the Elite Four. We will not have a lot of heals. I can heal before Bruno. I can probably... Yeah, and I think that we heal before Bruno, before Lance, and before Champion. And that kind of just sums it up. I think I'm gonna make a random safety save here. We shouldn't need them, but just on the... Like, I'm always worried that I run into the trainers here. I've only done so once, but they're really hard to deal with if I do. Yeah, essentially all of Victory Road is just pushing boulders. Like this Victory Road has nothing but just pushing boulders. Every trainer here is dodgeable. So if I do run into one that is completely my mistake, realistically it shouldn't happen, but I don't know, sometimes it can, I guess. Now we can, and I will attempt this, go for the so-called swag boulder. In a little bit, once we get to the longest sequence of just pushing the boulder, I'm gonna try for a minor glitch that is allowed in every category. It's slower than just pushing the boulder normally, but it just looks cool. But yeah, lots of random encounters here. There's not much I can do about the random encounters. We don't have any repels we can just pick up. We just kind of have to deal with it. So far, we've been getting quite a number of them. Only we could just buy repels, right? So the Pokemon, like the little bird that you see there, that's Moltres. If I picked up the Master Ball, we could have gotten it, except Moltres doesn't actually help me at all in any way once we are actually at the Elite Four. Now, I will say in No Centers, No Marts, Swag Boulder is a little harder, because there is an extra encounter check at that point. So I'll try to showcase it off. Just pay close attention to where the shove animation of the boulder is at. There you go. I hope that was visible. Essentially what you do there is if you turn frame on exactly the moment that you push the boulder, the shove animation shows up where you're facing, which can be like in a wall or something. It's super silly that it works, but it works. Yeah, if you do it wrong, you get an extra turn frame, which means an extra chance to get an encounter. So especially in No Centers, No Marts, it's really not worth going for, but it's cool to show off anyway. Kinda glad that I got it at least once. Can't Moltres save you power points by knocking out some of the weak Pokemon like Bruno's fighting types? No. The power point management isn't an issue. We have more than enough power points as it is. In fact, I should have one ether left over after we do our last heal before the champion. So we should be more than okay power point wise. Also, I believe the Moltres that you pick up here only has like one fire type move. And it's really bad. So it's just really not worth picking up the Moltres. It's slow to access, it's a lot of extra movement, and what you get out of it doesn't actually benefit me at all. I almost pressed dig there, that would have been very bad. Then we would have certainly gone overestimate. Yeah, this is the last boulder we need to push. Once this one's on the button, we have a clear path out of Victory Road. Have to hope we don't get too many random encounters. And that gets us to the Elite Four. Now, the first fight in the Elite Four is going to be against Lorelei, where we are going to use another little manipulation of her AI to make sure that she doesn't actually attack us. And I can set up my X accuracy and just Horn Drill her entire team. So we are going to enter this center because that is impossible not to do, but we are not going to use it, therefore not breaking any of the rules. Same with the Mart on the side. Okay, here we are, the Elite Four. We are 5 battles away from the end of this point. All we need to do is beat these next 5 trainers, and some of these fights can be very difficult. So, we should not count ourselves one yet. Oh, that works out. We actually want the Farfetch'd to faint there. This is what we needed Farfetch'd for. The way that the AI works for this this Dugong is that forces him to always use Rest on the second turn. Basically, he has 2 super effective moves. He can either do Rest or Aurora Beam, and this way we can force him into always using Rest. And the advantage of that is that Rest doesn't actually do anything here, because he's at full health. So I can use that to set up that X accuracy, and then I can just Horn Drill the rest of the team. Alright, and through the sacrifice of ducks, we have now beaten Lorelei. Yeah, we're still on like a 247, 248 pace, so we can still win this and be within estimate. We're gonna play it safe, though. I'm gonna save before each of the Elite Four members, just to make sure that nothing bad happens here. Alright, second fight here against Bruno. Go. The Onyx. We Blizzard the Onyx, we Earthquake everything else. Kind of, like, with Bruno, we kind of just try to overpower him. Ooh, that's a big hit. I don't like that. We do not like Ice Punch there at all. We don't really get a good chance to heal again until we get to Lance, so if I take too much damage, that can be a problem. That crit possibly mattered. Now, honestly though, Agatha is generally not that hard. He can be, but we should be okay. There we go. That clears up Bruno. Immediately going to progress to the Agatha fight, saving the game real quick, but we're just gonna jump right in. Okay, Agatha. Fairly straightforward fight. We Earthquake everything except Golbat. Golbat we use Thunderbolt on. Because of all of the extra... because of the extra level that we kind of pick up along the way, as well as the Carbos, combined with our good stats, we should be faster than almost everything. We don't care about Haze. Haze is fine. Honestly, one of the best things Golbat can do. allows me to Earthquake this. And Earthquake this. Final Pokemon coming up. And there we go. Like I said, Agatha, not that scary a fight usually. She can be, because the Golbat can confuse you, and that can actually be annoying. But generally speaking, that's fine. Now, Lance, on the other hand, these last two fights in general, these are both scary. Both of these last trainers have a very realistic chance of defeating me. The thing with Lance is his first Pokemon, the Gyarados, actually can one-shot me from full health. And there is nothing I can do if it does that. It is a damage range, which means one of three things can happen. Either I crit Thunderbolt right at the start, in which case we pretty much win. Option number 2, he misses Hydro Pump, in which case we win, and we're all good. Or the third option is we survive the damage roll, which can actually be quite bad because it puts me at really low health going into the final battle. We got him paralyzed, but he didn't get stuck in... That's another thing that can happen. We can paralyze and get him stuck in paralysis. So this is my last heal item, and we still have the rival fight at the end to go as well. So I'm gonna have to be careful now. We blizzard everything from here on except the Aerodactyl. I don't like that we did not one-shot that. So this run gets around the power point on moves through ethers, elixirs, you know, stuff like that. Combined with teaching moves over other moves. Like teaching a move that's out of power points over something, or teaching something new over something that was basically out of power points. Okay, if that had hit, this would have been a reset, I think. Yeah, I don't think I can win the rival fight at 70 HP. That's not enough. Yeah, this is either gonna be at estimate exactly, or we're gonna go slightly over. I am too short on heal items to go into the rival fight at 70 HP. The rival fight's too volatile for that. Yeah, Lavender Tower... No, Lavender Tower, we do not restore power points. The heal in Lavender Tower is skippable. Therefore, it needs to be skipped. I don't like that situation. I think we need to go for one-hit KO on the... Or me critting Gyarados, it missing Hydro Pump, or it getting stuck in paralysis. I think we're not in a position where I can really afford to lose the health. And that makes it really annoying. Because I only have one full restore remaining, and we definitely want to heal before rival. He Hyper Potioned. I've not seen him do that before. I don't actually mind that because it gives me another chance to crit. But we did not succeed. Guess it's a good thing that we were so far ahead of schedule. Yeah, we are 15% to crit. He is 15% to miss. And then we have an additional 10% to paralyze. Plus, like, we're about a 1 in 3 to get through the fight without taking any damage on Gyarados. In which case, it's a free win. For a second there, I thought we had won. I really thought we had won for a second there. In a normal situation with, I would have had 2 full restores at this point, and I maybe would have tried it, but I don't think we can do that. So, High Spirits, I'm sorry for your schedule, but we're gonna go overestimate with this one, which sucks, but you guys could see how volatile this run is. This run's been so hard. That's always the risk, I guess, with no centers, no marts. This run can be incredibly volatile. We kind of just need the correct RNG right now. Can you miss, please? Yeah, I think if, like, I may have tried the rival fight with low HP if it wasn't for the fact that we were ahead of schedule by quite a bit anyway. That way I don't feel as bad for not beating estimate. It's fine. Honestly, like, these sort of resets normally shouldn't happen. Really what went wrong in this run is we got incredibly unlucky on a fight that normally doesn't, like, normally I don't even look at because it's a very uninteresting fight. But we got hit by Sand Attack, combined with getting confused, and then hitting ourselves in confusion 3 times in a row. And that kind of screwed me over. Because of that, I had to... Oh, so apparently I can actually just one-shot it if we get lucky. Okay, we're through. We're through. We got this. Oh god, not Supersonic. I guess Supersonic could, in theory, still screw me over. Okay. It's fine. We have 1 full restore, so I can heal after this fight. That's why this doesn't matter as much. Alright, we got past Lance. We're still only gonna be like 2 or 3 minutes over. It's not gonna be by a whole lot. So, we have the Max Elixir. Now, like I said, we are gonna have 1 Ether left over, and we do. We're gonna full restore. This is where I use that candy that I'd saved up. I save the game, and let's go for the final boss. Now, time is not immediately after the final boss, but after we beat the rival here, we've got about another minute and 20 seconds. Also, animations are going to be turned on here. That is by design. There is no way to turn it off. This final fight will always have animations on. But here we go. This is the final boss of the game. So we're going to start with that X special that we picked up a long time ago. He's going to charge up for a Sky Attack. We should... Yeah, I was about to say, we should outspeed and this should one-shot. We get through the Pidgeot damage list, that's really good. Now, if I had not candied, we would have leveled there, and we would have been slower than the Alakazam. We need this, We need this to be, we need us to be faster for this one. The Rhydon, not a particularly big threat. Now, the main reason I'm worried about my health, or was worried about my health, is because the final Pokemon, Venusaur, we cannot one-shot that. So he will always get an attack off. And if I go into this fight at really low health and we die to the Venusaur, that's a much bigger time loss. I mean, the 5 minutes we lost on Lance don't help, don't get me wrong, but... this fight's just inherently slow as it is. Now, we do actually have a bit of a better strategy for this fight. For this Venusaur. This is actually the most recent route change. We used to do Blizzard right away, but instead now we're doing Earthquake and then Blizzard, and that makes him not get into heal. Maybe I should have just gone for this, but okay, yeah, there we miss. You can see how this can become quite a problem. He didn't even go for a stronger move. Mega Drain is the weakest thing you can do pretty much. Alright. Final boss down. Get ready on time. That's in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Oh, slightly over. Yeah, I know Questing for Glory doesn't really care if people go over estimate. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Pokemon Red, no centers, no marts. Like I said, this is an incredibly volatile category, but it is such a blast to do. If you do ever want to pick up a no centers, no marts yourself, all of my notes on these categories are on speedrun.com on the category extensions leaderboards. I've made all of my successful no center, no marts notes that I've finished. I've made those public. If you like seeing stupid Pokemon runs, head over to my channel and drop a follow. I'm about a little over a month away from the dumbest challenge we do every year. So, you know, if you like Pokemon speedrunning, I would appreciate that. I'll get ready. Time is when the screen fades to black on the towards the credits in just a second, by the way, so do get ready. About 10 seconds left. Dex rating, blah, 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 and time. 2.5 minutes over. It'll have to do. But yeah, like I said, I do a lot of dumb Pokemon challenges. There's a big one coming up, so if you like Pokemon speedrunning, do drop a follow, and hope to see you guys back on my stream, or hope to see you guys on my stream at some point. And, you know, for everyone in my chat, go check out Questing for Glory. Fantastic marathon, always a ton of fun to be a part of. Yeah, I know we're still ahead of schedule, but... I mean, I went over, but I didn't go over by a whole lot, so there's that, I guess. But yeah, thank you, everyone from Questing for Glory for having me. It is always a blast to showcase Pokemon here. So every time this marathon comes around, I look at the submissions towards the end, and I always notice there's no Pokemon there. You know, it's got to be a part of it. So I'm glad I was able to show that off. Thank you, High Spirits, for and everyone else on the team for putting this together. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I think I've pretty much said what I wanted to say. Good luck to the next runners.